Hello, and welcome to Cubee Crafts with the Onondaga Free Library. My name is Miss Corey, and today I am going to show you how to put together a number of Star Wars characters made from cubes. I will show you how to do R2-D2 and C-3PO today. And what you'll need in order to complete these is you will need to have picked up your craft kit from the Onondaga Free Library, and it looks something like this. You'll also need to be sure that you have a very sharp pair of scissors that make nice clean cuts and some tape. So, gather your patience and open up your craft kit and let's see what we have. Inside your craft kit, you will see that there are a number of different sheets for different characters that you can create. Today we are going to create R2-D2, and we're also going to create C-3PO. Once you've completed those two cubes, it will be very easy for you to go ahead and make Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And you'll also find that there'll be other craft sheets in your kit for other characters. We're going to begin today with R2-D2. So take out your R2-D2 sheet and put all the others aside. Get your very sharp pair of scissors. And one of the keys to making Cubee crafts is to be very patient and take your time when you're cutting out the pattern. For R2-D2, we have three pieces that we have to cut out. We have his body and his two arms. You'll notice that we have already cut the slits for you, so you do not have to do that part. So for now, take a moment, pause the video, and go ahead and cut out R2-D2. And when you've finished cutting him out, restart the video, and I will show you how to put him together. When you've finished cutting out R2-D2, you should have three pieces, and they will look like this. This is his body, and then you have two arms that look like this. Next, what you want to do, we'll work on his body first, is see all these black tabs that are all around the outside. You're going to want to get yourself a nice, hard, flat surface and bend all of those black tabs over. Bend them down. Try to make your bends as nice and straight as possible. So take a few minutes now and bend all your little black tabs towards the back so that it looks like the back of your R2-D2 will look like this. So here is R2-D2 from the back with all of his black tabs folded down. Next, what you're going to do is open those all back up again. We need to open those so that we can make our next folds. The next thing you want to do is take a look at R2-D2 from the front, and you're going to make a number of folds here. Every place you see a straight black line, you're going to fold. So get your hard surface and try to fold nice and neatly along that black line. So there's my first fold. Then I open up that fold, and then I'm going to make my second fold and open it up and make my third fold, open it up, and my fourth fold. And now you can see when we fold these, we have the shape of a cube. But before we go any further, we're going to open up those folds, and we have to fold these black lines along the top, and they'll be 5 of those to do. You have one here, and one here, one here, and one here. And we have those all folded over. Now we're going to open up all of those folds, and we have one last fold to make, and that's this little square at the top. And you fold him over. And now all of our folds are ready. We just need to put our 2D2 together. Now, when you put him together, he will assemble all very nicely without tape, but you may want to tape him together because he'll stay together better. So if you decide to use tape, before you start to put him together, I would take your tape and make a number of really tiny pieces and get those ready. That one's too big. Little tiny pieces of tape, and have those ready to tape down your flaps on the inside. So now I have some tape ready, and I'm going to put his body together. Now, the first fold that we're going to want to do, let's turn him upside down so his head is down. You're going to fold all of this, and you'll see that you have 2 tabs that say F. And there's a slot in the bigger tab. And so you just put the smaller tab into the slot in the bigger tab. If you look inside, you can see where that slot, you can see how easy it is for that to fall back out. So you go inside once you have it together and tape that slot down. And now it will stay. And I taped it. It's hard to see, but right in there on the inside. Now, we'll take our next fold, and we're going to take our E tab and put it into our E slot. Like so. See how that is? And then I hold it, and I take one of my little pieces of tape. It pops out on you a lot, so this is why the tape helps. You take a little piece of tape and you stick it in there and you tape that slot down. And then you continue with the G slot and the G tab and the B slot and the B tab. And now you can see that you have the beginnings of a cube. Now, sometimes it's hard to tape those tabs on the inside, so you can just tape them on the outside if your cube is not staying together. So I have the bottom part of our 2D2 made, and now I just need to do the top. And I'm going to do the same thing with the top. And this is a little tricky because you got to kind of do them all at the same time. But you're going to take the 1 tab and put it into the 1, and the 2 tab and put it into the 2 slot. And then you're going to try to hold that together and put the 3 tab, which is the hardest part, into the 3 slot. And now you have our 2D2's body. And again, if these are not holding together, take a little tiny piece of tape and just tape him down. And there he is, our 2D2's body. And we're going to do the same thing to make his arms. And we'll have to do 2 of these. So with this arm, again, the first thing that you're going to do is fold down all the black tabs. Fold them down, fold, fold, whoops, that's not a tab, fold, fold. There are only 4 on this. You have your H tabs and your J tabs. So when you fold them down, they look like this towards the back. Open up those tabs, and then we have to fold 4 folds on these 4 lines. Now, the slit is carved here, already cut. So when I fold this one by the H tab, you'll see that this part sticks out. See how I did that? The H is folded in, and then the side is folded in. Now I got to open it up again, and I have to fold along this line. And then I open it up again, and I fold along this line so that I have made a square. We open it all up, and the first thing you want to do is pull it together and take the H tab and put it into the H slot, just like so. See that? And I'm going to tape him down because they like to fall apart on me. Now that I have that, you can see that I have a square, but I have these 2 little tabs sticking out on the side. But I still have to fold over the top, whoops, which I should have done that earlier. And I have to take my little tiny J tab and put it into my J slot. And sometimes these are a little tricky, but if you just keep working at it, you will be able to get it in there. Here it goes. There. So when his arm is done, it looks like this. And again, I'm going to take a little piece of tape, little tiny piece of tape, and I'm going to tape his arm down. So now I have R2-D2's body, and I have one arm. Now let's put the other arm together. We're going to do the same thing. Fold down all the black tabs. 2, 3. There's only 4 on this one. And on this one you have the M's and the O's. So I fold them all down. Then I open up the black tabs and I fold along those same 4 lines. 1, 2, 3 lines on the side, 3, and don't forget the one on the top. And then take the M tab and slide it into the M slot. See if I can show you how I'm doing this. These littler ones are hard, and this is actually R2-D2 is a little bit tougher to do. And now I've got it in there. So I take a little piece of tape and I'm going to tape it down because they don't like to stay on me, but they might stay for you. Okay? And then we take the O slot on the top, or the O tab, and we put it into the O slot, just like that. And you have another arm. And again, I like to tape them down. Piece of tape is a little big, so make it a little smaller and tape it down. So now I have all 3 pieces of R2-D2 ready, his body and his arms. And you'll see on the side of R2-D2, you'll have some slots that are cut. And this is the P and the Q slot. So you find the arm that has the P and the Q tabs. And then what we're going to do very carefully is we're going to slide those in. And now R2-D2 has one arm. And we're going to slide this in to the other side. And hopefully they are cut big enough. And we slide them in. And there is R2-D2. Congratulations. Take a moment, be proud of what you've created, And we're going to move ahead and do 3CPO, actually C3PO. And what you can do now is pause the video and go ahead and cut out the pieces that you need for C3PO. He looks like this, and you're going to cut 4 pieces. You're going to cut his head, his body, his feet, his arms, 2 arms. And this will take a little while, so go ahead and pause the video and cut him out now. Remember to cut your lines as straight as you can and take your time, and come back and join us in a few minutes when you've got them all cut out, and I will show you how to put him together. Welcome back. All right, now we're going to make C3PO. And you should have finished cutting everything out, and you should have his head, his body, a long skinny piece for his feet, and 2 arms. So let's start with the biggest piece, which would be his head. And we're going to do the same thing that we've done before, that we did with R2-D2, is we're going to fold over all the black tabs. Now if I go too fast for you, go ahead and pause the video, but I'm going to go ahead and start folding over all my black tabs. Fold them all to the back, to the white side of C3PO, like so. Okay? Fold them all over. Try to make them nice and straight folds. They're not too hard to fold the tabs. We fold them all over. Like so. I'll fold all the black tabs to the back so that he looks like this. All those black tabs. And then open up the tabs again, because now we have to make all the folds in his body. Open up the tabs, turn them over. We're going to make a number of folds here. We're going to fold on this line, and on this line, and on this line, and this line. So let's start at the top. Fold over his eyes, get a nice flat surface, and fold him over. See, now you just see his face. See that fold? And then open that fold up. And now fold up the bottom. And you can see how he's starting to look like a cube. Now I'm going to fold this side on this line right here. And I've got to fold, so he looks like this. And I've got to fold him again right here. Can you see that? We're getting a lot of glare. Fold him again right here and right here. Now, he is in the shape of a cube. So, now that he looks like this, we're going to start with his sides. And we're just going to swing all the sides around and take the T tab and put it into the T slot. And you have the beginning of your cube. Now again, if you want to make sure it stays, you can take a little piece of tape and tape it down. And now all we have to do is put his top together and his bottom together. And when we do that, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take on the top, the X tab is going to slide into the X slot. The Z tab is going to slide into the Z slot. Some of these, you got to work them in a little bit and open them up. And try to get them all in there at the same time, which is the challenge. But you can do it. Get a little help from your grown-up if you need it. Try to hold in those 2 slots while you put the final Y slot in. You kind of work them all together. And there's the top of his head. And I'll just take a little piece of tape and tape him down so it stays. Then we're going to do the same with the bottom. The V tab goes into the V slot. Some go in a little easier than others. Sometimes you have to open up those slots to get them in there. The W goes into the W. And then always the hardest one is the last one, but put the U. As you hold the other two down, you try to kind of stretch the U and get him into that last slot. And we now have C-3PO's, his head. And again, if he's not staying together too well, just put a little tape in there. Tape them together. So take his head and put it aside. And next take the next biggest piece, which is his body, which looks like this. And again, you're going to do the same thing. Fold all the black tabs to the back or onto the white. You have to be careful with some of the slots because he has lots of body slots. And sometimes they're hard to get those tabs folded nice and straight. So try to fold them nice and straight, especially when you get around these side slots. Fold up all of his tabs of his body. Okay, and it looks kind of like this. And then we open up all his tabs. And now we have to fold the sides of his cubes. And again, there are 4 black lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to fold along all those black lines. If I get ahead of you, feel free to pause the video so that you can catch up. So I'm doing my 4 folds. And now his body is ready to go into the cube. So again, we're just going to fold him around and take the B slot, or the B tab, and put it into the B slot, like so. Little piece of tape, keep them together if you want. It does make it easier. A little piece of clear tape. All right, and we have his body. And then we just have to do this part, which is the harder part when we're putting 3. We put the F into the F, the G into the G, and the E into the E. And push them all in. And sometimes they don't like to go in very well. So you just have to be a little patient. Sometimes you might have to redo one of your folds if one of your folds isn't very good. Whoops. And then maybe a piece of tape to keep them together. But you will see that there's some slots cut in. You have a C and D slot on this, and you also have an L and a K on the side, and a P and a Q on this side. But now that we have C-3PO's body and his head, we can put his head on his body. And you'll see on the bottom side of C-3PO, he has 2 slots. And you're going to take these 2 tabs that are sticking out and match them. The R slot with the R tab and the S slot with the S tab. And slide him in. And there he is. But we're not done yet because we still need to do his feet and his arms. And the smaller pieces do get a little harder. So let's do his feet. His feet are this long, skinny thing. And there's not a lot of folds to make in this. You're going to make the 2 folds of the black tabs. Fold them to the back. And then you're going to make a fold again on each of the lines. So there's 1. Open it up. 2, open it up. And 3, open it up. And once you have all those folded, you'll see that the A tab fits nicely into the A slot. And again, and maybe a little piece of tape to hold it together. And now I have his feet. And if you look on the feet, there's an O tab. Oh, I'm sorry, a C tab and a D tab. And if you take C3PO and you turn them upside down, you'll see that there's a C and a D slot on the bottom. So you simply put the C tab into the C slot and the D tab into the D slot. And now he has his feet. And all that's left to do is his arms. And he should stand up. If your folds are good and he's put together well, he should stand right up for you. And last, we have his arms. And his arms are a lot like R2-D2's arms. And again, we're going to do the same thing. Fold all his black tabs towards the back. Oop. Tabs and slots, I should say. You can usually tell the slots because they have holes in them. Open up the slots. Fold along the black lines. Vertical lines. Until he's in the shape of a square. And you'll see on this one, you don't fold the whole thing, it's just the bottom half, but that is already cut for you. Because he's going to have these tabs that go into his body. So then you simply swing it around and put the M tab into the M slot. And the smaller these pieces get, the a little harder they are to get them put together. So take your time and have your patience and get a grown-up if you can't quite get it right. Because sometimes your slot may not be cut very well, but we tried really hard to get those cut well for you. This one, the M is giving me a little trouble here, but I think I'm getting him. Again, sometimes you have to try to push that slot open. There he goes. All right, the M, and then the N tab is going to go into the N slot. As you can see, it gets a little hard. And then the O tab is going to go into the O slot. And now I have his arm. And I have these two tabs sticking out. Again, I'm going to put a little tape on him because he doesn't look like he's going to stay together very well. So I'm going to take a little tiny piece of tape and tape it. My M slot and tab are not staying together well, so I'll tape those together. And my top one is not staying together very well either, so I'll tape that. And I have his arm. And once you have the arm put together, you'll take C3PO's body, and you'll see that you'll have a Q and a P slot on the arm, or tab on the arm, and you'll have a Q and a P slot on his body, and you just simply slide him into the slot. And now he has his arm. And all we have to do is his last arm. So put C3PO down, and let's just fold his other arm. Again, all the black slots to the back. There's 6 of them on this one. Open them up. Fold all the vertical lines. Here. So there's one here. That one I didn't fold very straight, so I have to kind of fix it. Fold on the next one. And this little tiny one down here by the H goes in. And what we forgot to do last time, but fold the top slots down so that all of the black lines are folded. And then it's ready to go together as a cube. So take the H tab and slide it into the H slot. Again, the smaller these pieces get, the harder they are. There you go. And sometimes the slots fall down inside and you gotta bang them out. I think this is an I or an L into the L. Yep. And that one doesn't want to stay, so I'll take a little piece of tape. Sometimes it's hard to get a little piece of tape. We take a little piece of tape and tape him in if he doesn't want to stay. And then we're going to put the J into the J. And I'm going to tape him too because he doesn't want to stay. And then I have his other arm. And then you can see you got a K and an L slot and a K and an L tab. And you just push those in. And there you have C3PO. Now the beauty of these Cubee crafts is once you've done one like this, you can see R2-D2 and C3PO are a little different. But most of the Cubee crafts are just like C3PO. And once you know how to do C3PO, you can do your Obi-Wan Kenobi and your Yoda and whatever other fun characters we decided to put into your particular bag. But again, you should have at least these 4 characters. So good luck with your Cubee crafts. If you do get a chance to get these put together and you want to take a picture of them and send them to our Facebook account, that would be great. We'd love to see how successful you are with this. If you really enjoy this craft, go ahead and drop us a line and let us know how much you enjoyed the craft. And if we get a lot of really good feedback, we'll go ahead and do another one of these in the future, and maybe next time we can focus on something like superheroes. Again, thank you so much for joining us at the Onondaga Free Library with our Star Wars Cubee crafts. And one final hint, you can find the patterns for these Cubee crafts by going to cubeecraft.com. CUBEECRAFT, all one word, .com, and you will find all these patterns. The best thing to do is if you're going to print them out is to print them on cardstock. It's a little easier to work with the cardstock than it is just regular paper, and that's what we have used today. So enjoy your Star Wars Cubee crafts, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.